When we think about our parishes and schools, do we think of the place we come to, or do we think of the place from which we are sent? Our parishes and schools nourish us, support us, and focus us to deepen our personal relationship with Jesus, as well as equip us to go out as missionary disciples. How best do we fulfill this mandate in this time and space? With a rapidly changing world and limited resources and time, how do we proclaim the good news as effectively as possible? Whether during the time of the first apostles, the Middle Ages, or even the earliest foundations of Catholic life here in Chicagoland, we have always been called to answer this fundamental question. Now is our moment. Cardinal Superchus called the Catholic people of Chicagoland to dream big and to begin a process to envision how we can bring about renewal. As we look to the future, we ask, what has changed in our larger community that is demanding from us a new resolve or a different focus? What must we leave behind in order to respond to God's call to renewal? Some may be wondering, why is this necessary? Everything is fine at my parish. Why do we need to change things? Just as our faith calls us to constant reflection, conversion, and renewal, so do the realities of our time. Both nationally and locally, we face demographic and cultural shifts that require us to envision our Catholic community differently. The most evident of these shifts to many may be the diminishing number of priests available to lead our parishes and support the sacramental life of the Church. In fact, today in the Archdiocese, only 15% of our diocesan priests are 40 years old or younger, and our largest cohort of priests will reach retirement age in the next decade. In just over a decade, the Archdiocese of Chicago will have nearly 100 fewer pastors available for our current 344 parishes. The financial demands of our current system of parishes and schools also present a real challenge. Despite the generosity of many, the estimated capital needs of all our parishes and schools is annually millions of dollars, well beyond the income received. While these two factors are daunting, they are symptomatic of the biggest challenge. Across the Archdiocese, we have experienced a 27% decline in Mass attendance over the past 20 years. The number of Catholic marriages we record has dropped by approximately 50%, and consequently, we see a decline in baptisms and confirmations as well. We're experiencing a massive generation shift in the U.S. as the larger baby boomer generation gets older and the millennial generation fully reaches adulthood. In years past, our Catholic young people grew up in a society that was very supportive of faith. They grew into faithful Catholics through regular participation in the life of their parishes from a very young age. Today, our society often encourages the opposite, that faith can't be reconciled with science, that one can be spiritual without being religious, that regular practice of faith is not that important when families today face so many time pressures. We can no longer assume that our children will grow into an active faith life, but rather, we will need to identify new ways of bringing our youth to a new relationship with Jesus Christ and with our Church. We will need to make direct connections with individuals so they can see how a relationship with Christ can be transformative in their lives. 36% of millennials claim no affiliation whatsoever with organized religion. Of those who identify as Catholics, only 17% attend Mass on a regular, weekly basis. This provides an important context for some of the declines we are experiencing, but it does not explain the whole story. We all know people in our families who have left the Church or no longer see relevance for faith in their life. Yet we know that there has never been a more urgent need to make Christ known. Through Renew My Church, The Archdiocese will recommit our local church to a gospel commission to make disciples, build vital communities of faith, and inspire witness to bring the light and hope of Christ to a world in need. In every corner of the Archdiocese, we'll focus on three pastoral priorities: evangelization, vocations, leadership. We need to increase our confidence in our ability to invite our family and friends to a life-changing encounter with Christ and to deepen their commitment to discipleship. We need to build awareness and create opportunities for individual discernment of all vocations so that all of us can experience the fullness of life in answering our unique call. We need to expand our ongoing formation for ordained leaders and invite lay leaders to take on roles of greater responsibility in our communities so that we can chart the path and inspire others to walk toward our new reality. Structurally, the Archdiocese has already begun efforts to strengthen the Archdiocesan Pastoral Center and the Vicariate system by investing in strong support teams so that parishes and schools across our diverse 6 regions receive the best support possible from the Archdiocese. The final initiative to support wide-scale renewal in the Archdiocese of Chicago is also the initiative which has called you to be present today. Our church is a community of communities, whether they are in the far-reaching suburbs of Lake and Cook counties or in the heart of the city. The communities of disciples that make up our Archdiocese have different histories, different needs, different gifts, and different challenges. In a unique way, you have been called to participate in engaging your local community and planning for its sustainable future. Cardinal Cupich wants your discernment, feedback, and local wisdom to shape the necessary changes your communities will make in the coming years.